welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Money with Friends. Oh my gosh, we haven't been here for a couple of weeks, and I'm so excited that I'm back. I'm back after a couple of weeks of taking off to really enjoy life and to celebrate my birthday. I think I'd mentioned to all of you that I was gonna be changing season. And I'm so excited because it was a great time off to really have a great fun with friends and family. But I'm back. I'm back, and tonight's topic, it's gonna be an awesome topic. So you wanna share, tag, let your friends know that Let's Talk Money with Friends is on every Wednesday at 7 p.m. live. We go live, so you can share the live with your friends and let them know about this great show. So tonight's show is that it's very, to me, it's very important because it's what's in a name. It matters. What's in the name? It matters because, my name is Gabrielle. Every time I come here, I'm introducing myself as Gabrielle. Why is that important? Names is one of the first permanent gift that are given to us, our names. First permanent gifts that are given to us from parents or someone who's a caretaker when you're born. It's a very essential part of our identity. That's why when I come here, I don't say my name is Josette, but my name is Gabrielle. And the potential of who you become can have a lot to do with the name that you have. So it's very important that our parents or caretaker choose that name very carefully. And tonight we're going to talk about this and why is it important as well to really live up to your name. I know I do my best to live up to my name because, the good book, you all know I'm a believer, and I read and I posted it online as well. It says, your name, a good name, is better than silver and gold. In my opinion, it's even better than diamond because your name is priceless. We want to talk about what's in the name, why it matters tonight. So welcome. I have three great friends with me tonight. I called them and I was like, ladies, my birthday just passed, but I still want my birthday gift. I want all of you to come on the show tonight. And they said yes. And I know so many of them have tight schedules, but you know what? They're friends and I'm here. And I want to thank you, ladies, for my birthday gift, and thank you for being on the show. And I'll give Anna the first opportunity to introduce herself quickly and Perpetuity, and then we'll go to Dorothy, and then we're going to dive into this important conversation about what's in the name. It matters.
Yes. Well, thank you, Gabrielle, and happy birthday again. Again, I'm Anna Gomes DePina, and my name was given to me. It was my great-grandmother's name, and I'll explain more as the show progresses. Thank you.
Yeah.
Glad to be
here. Thank you, Anna, for being here. And Perpetuity, go ahead.
I was looking for the show to share. Okay. Yes. Good evening, everyone. My name is, it's a real long name. I go by Perpetuity, but I do have Marie in front of my name too. In Haiti, you don't have one name. You have sometimes 2, 3, and usually we have a Marie, right? in front of the name. So my name is Marie Yves Perpetuity. And my last name is Robert. I'm so happy to join Gabrielle. That's been a long time, Gabrielle, that we haven't chat together and be on the show together. So I'm so grateful to have you. And again, happy birthday. And I know that you enjoy yourself. I saw the videos and the picture. You look awesome, right?
I know. Thank you so much, Perpetuity. I know you have a show coming up. You're gonna be doing live every Wednesday. So this is your last opportunity to be here on this show. And I want you to take a moment as well during the show to talk about that as well. And Dorothy is my gym partner. Dorothy, we're like, yes. Hi, Dorothy.
Thanks for having me back on the show again. My name is Dorothy Whitfield. And what else are we going to say?
I know you're a comedian, Dorothy.
I am a comedian. I'm a local Boston comedian. So I do stand-up comedian, kind of like really dark humor. I touch on like social issues, like things like that. So yeah. Also, because you say you just had a birthday, we had a birthday in the same week.
Exactly the same week. Dorothy had hers on the 16th, right?
Yep.
Yeah, mine was on the 18th. Leo all the way.
Yeah.
So we have a lot in common, not only birthdays, but when we were at the gym earlier today, I was talking about, the show and everything. And she was like, oh my gosh, I do so many different activities around names with the students that I work with. So yeah, ladies, let's go dive into this important conversation. What is the meaning of your name, Anna?
Hmm.
What is the
Well,
meaning of your name?
yes. Well, I believe my name is of Hebrew origin, and it means grace. It comes from the same word as Hannah.
Ah,
But that's not how my parents chose my name. They didn't look up the Bible and say, oh, you know what, we want a really nice biblical name. No, so in my family, instead of Marie, everyone's Maria.
yeah.
So I already had two sisters named Maria,
Mm.
and they were running out of names. And then my grandmother's mother is named Anna, and my aunt is named Anna. And I think because there was no other name in my family besides Maria and Anna,
Mhm.
and I got the name Anna. And when I was little, I didn't like the name. It was just like, it's literally two letters, the easiest name to write. And I remember one time my grandmother, she's old fashioned, old school, Cape Verdean. And I told her, I hate this name. I don't like this name. Mind you, I'm like 5 years old, probably. And she cussed me out. She was like, you'll never ever say that again, ever. That was my mother's name. And my mother passed away when I was a kid. She never met her mother
Oh,
because
wow.
mom died giving birth, according to, family history.
Yeah.
So, she loved this name because it was all she had of her mother.
Wow.
And when my grandma passed away, the last thing she said to me was Nomi Dinyamai, which means the name of my mother. She didn't call me Anna. She just called me the name Nomi Dinyamai, the name of my mother. So that was the last thing she said to me. So I'll always love this name.
Yeah. Yeah, I would too. Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's why it's so important, because when you know where your name's from and how it was given to you and chosen for you, it makes a difference, right, Perpetu? Now your
It
name is
does.
Perpetu. Marie, is it Marie Perpetu?
Marie-Eve.
Marie-Eve. Okay.
Marie-Eve. I don't know why I have the Marie-Eve, but I do know why I do have the Perpetu. So my name origin is from Latin, and it's meaning continuous, uninterrupted, long-lasting, perpetual, eternal, lifetime, and they said it's really related mainly to firmness in faith and belief in eternal salvation. Isn't that wonderful? It goes
Yeah.
to me, Billy. A firmness in faith. I always describe myself as a woman of faith, women of virtue that's believe in God. And I'm really proud about that. So firmness in faith and eternal salvation. And I do believe in eternal life. So when Gabriel told me that, I'm like, oh my goodness, I was thinking about my name, so many things about my name. And I said, I want to participate in the last show. That's going to be my last show. And I want to participate and talk a little bit. So because of her, I went a little bit deeper about my name, okay? To know more about what is in perpetual. It's I'm going to read from that because it is a name. It's a Catholic name, and they call it Our Lady of Perpetual Help. In Haiti, it's called Perpetual Secours. So why do I get that name? My mother lost her first child because of, when the blood type was a problem. She is negative, and my father is positive or positive. And when those two have children, they usually have a problem in the blood. And at that time, they did not have any rescue for that. So the first child died, and she was praying and asking her Heavenly Father God for another child. And she had a dream, and she saw the picture of the Lady Perpetual Help in your bed, okay, in your bedside. So she had a vision, and she has that. And not even a month later, she got pregnant. And that's why she called me Perpetu.
Wow.
So that's how I get my name. And even though I'm not really go to the Catholic, but I really, during my late years right now, I have more and more respect and more understanding of what my name stands for. And as I was discussed with Gabriel, and I said, I decide to stand, to live according to what my name is,
Yeah.
bringing help. And so I did not say that in the beginning that I'm a naturopath and I help people stay healthy, right? And I said, why not having perpetual health, not living perpetually on this planet, but because of the way that we are, I'm helping people to change their daily habit, their lifestyle is gonna pass through generation, and like that, we're gonna have a healthy perpetual lineage and generation being healthy, right?
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
It's amazing. It's amazing. That's why to me it's important to know that information. And Dorothy, please share.
So my name is Dorothy. Dorothy means gift of God or God's gift. It isn't a Bible, but it's used basically to explain to me as a person, like being a gift or a gift of God. So, and I actually learned that when I was maybe like ninth grade. I had an assignment. It was like an English like assignment, and they were basically like, "Oh, what does your name mean?" So it's a Greek name. It actually stems from the name Theodore. And so they kind of took that part and kind of made Dorothy, which it's just, I don't know, it's such like an angelic name, just like Dorothy. I got it from my grandmother. She actually passed away 5 days before I was born. My mom, who was the youngest child, was able to bless me with my grandmother's name. So a lot of people, they call me, my nickname is Dot. That's an old fashioned. So you don't really see too many babies born with the name Dorothy anymore, like, but I like my name Dorothy because I'm able to self-identify as a white woman on job application and get the job. That always works, like, but no, yeah, so that's just like really the origin. And like you said before, Gabrielle, I do this with my job. I work for an inclusion organization, and so I work with the disability community, and we teach some of our young people on identity. And one of the activities that we do, we have a note card, and we have all these different identities from gender, religion, your name, all kind of things, or your sexual orientation, and we give out. We write all of these, about 7 questions, and then it's a group. We ask you to give up one that doesn't matter the most, that or is the least important to you. Throw it in a circle, so you're left with one. And usually for me, I'm always able to tell, like, my name is a big part of my identity, because when you see the name Dorothy, it's a very old-fashioned name. I'm from the South, so you see a lot of, like, maybe Southerners may have it. The most common, like, reference is the Golden Girls or Wizard of Oz, or like some kids like Dorothy the dinosaur, or like the pet fish that Elmo has in his bowl that lives like 100 years. So, it's one of those things where it's like I've grown into my name because it's such a classical, like, mature name. And till this day, I'm like, is that your real name? Like, I don't know what else it's supposed to be, like Shaniqua or something like that. It's like the stereotype. So when people are very thrown off when I tell them that my name, like, it's literally where I'm like having to show my license and stuff like that. So, so it's just like, I love my name. It has like benefits, and it's like, but the most that I cherish the most is that I was able to get it from my grandmother, who I haven't met. So that's something that I'm always, because it's like, oh, what was Grandma Dorothy like, And so I have this thing where I'm telling my son, I have an 11-year-old son, and I'm like, oh, your first daughter has to be named Dorothy, like, that's it. And he's just looking at me like, I'm not even thinking about kids right now, but I was like, just letting you know, if you want, the inheritance, like, this is part of it. It's going to be in my will.
Yeah,
My first granddaughter.
Definitely. I think when you take the time, right, ladies, to really think about your name and what it means. I know for me, yes, like you, Perpetuity, I too was born with the Marie, because my name, actually, my full name is Marie Gabrielle. Marie Gabrielle, yes, and to me it's very beautiful, but unfortunately, when you come to the United States, everybody wants to call you by your first name, and everybody was Mary, and I didn't like that. I wanted to be to differentiate myself, so I decided when I was able to permanently change my name to change it to just to have it be Gabrielle, Gabrielle by itself. But I had posted it. Gabrielle means a strong woman of God. The God is my strength. And also, I remember when I got my first professional job, and the interviewer that asked me, give me 4 adjectives that would describe you. And I said tenacious, because Gabrielle is very tenacious. I said courageous. Gabrielle is very courageous. And I also mentioned determined. But I did also mention beautiful, because all Gabrielles are beautiful. All the Gabrielles are beautiful inside and out. So, at the end of the day, when you know who you are and you know the essence of what you're all about, it's very important. Because at the end of the day, what is the purpose for your name, Anna? What's the purpose for that name that you are given?
Sorry about that. Well, purpose, well, it's also cultural, I think. Many cultures will get they'll give you a child's name based on what they hope for the child. I know, like I said, I don't think my parents thought too hard. They was like, this is a good enough name, she gets it. But with my own kids, I gave them names that I hope that they would become, like characteristics. My daughter has a Greek name because I studied Greek, and her name is Kalia, and it's very unique. And I thought it was a very simple name. It's Kallea. But every time she started school, her name was mispronounced to the point that the kids always knew that every teacher would mispronounce it. Would call her Kaylee, Kayla. It was very phonetic, Kallea, Kalia. But it meant beautiful things. Wow. And I thought I loved that it was, good things, or, it was all positive things. So my hope was that she would be a very good person, a very positive person, and that she would become this beautiful person. I mean, she was beautiful when she was born, but, that she, not just outside beauty, but in her beauty, that she would just radiate goodness and positivity. Yeah. And then my son, I gave him a name based on the fact that I didn't want to give him my husband's name at the time. And he wanted to name his son after him. And I was like, your name is hard to pronounce, and I don't like it really like that. So I chose a biblical name for him. I chose the name Jacob, which everyone knows means he wrestles with God. Very theologically strong name. Knowing that, you can serve God and still wrestle with things and wrestle with God, that you don't have to feel like you can't ask God certain things, or you can't, that it's okay to wrestle and to work things out. And so I just wanted him to have a strong theological name and to also have a strong personality. I guess I take for granted that the women in my family, we've had to be strong. That's just been like, we had to be ready for anything at any time. So I really wasn't worried about my daughter being a strong person. But for my son, I wanted him to know that he could have his own personality, stand up, and be himself in life. So that's me. Yeah.
It's so funny that you said you wanted to call your son and call your daughter, because in French, right, Perpetuity, because you live in Canada, and I know when I was learning growing up, in the French language, we say, I am called. Like the name that you have is a calling. It's not just a name, it's a calling. Like we say, je m'appelle Gabrielle. So we don't say I'm named Gabrielle, I'm actually called Gabrielle. So what does that mean for you? Like when you hear somebody, in terms of like, is that part of the importance of your name? Like, because the name that you call is also, like you were saying, like what you could become. I had mentioned that in the intro that I said. Yeah, talk about that, Praviti.
Yes, I realized like perpetual, and when I go to history, he has a history. The lady, Our Lady of Help, they say she had made miracle, and in other country, in the Roman Catholic, I can't remember which country, but in Haiti, he has helped the country 2 times with 2 illness. Okay, two petite vérole. I don't know how they say that in English, and it's something else again. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. So I'm in the health field. And identify myself as a daughter of God. So Mary was the mother of God, and we know her life. She was a woman of faith, integrity, because she has been chosen. And I'm not perfect, but with all my self and desires to really have a really pure, worthy woman of God. I'm like, okay, she has done that. She has done amazing. She's helping. So why not I identify myself as her in doing what she has been done. You understand what she had been done, what she had called for. Does it matter if I believe or not, whatever it is, but I decided to carry that name and be that kind of person that is there to help. And the funny thing that she had help in health illness, you understand? And I am in the health field. So why?
Yeah.
Everybody has a hero. We have to follow somebody's step, do the things that somebody else have done that is good, you follow that step. So why not? I'm following that step. And I told Gabriel, I have my show coming up next Wednesday at 7. I feel happy. I feel that I'm fulfilling my purpose, helping in my own community, helping them to better their life with natural remedies, and also to be closer to nature. So live it
because I
according to
remember,
your purpose. Yeah.
I saw you on the show the other day when you were being interviewed by somebody else, and I was like, yeah, definitely. You are living your calling, you're living your purpose. And I know you joked about it, Dorothy. Yes, Dorothy is an old person's name, because everybody that I know whose name is Dorothy is about like 60 and older, right? So the very fact that when I met you, like Dorothy, I was like, but Dorothy, I mean, like, because your name is easy to pronounce. But how do you feel when somebody has a name that's very difficult to pronounce? What do you think we have as a responsibility? Because name is such an important part of the person's identity, and it's very important to respect that because it's who they are. So what do you say when someone has a difficult time, especially if it's a name that,
So
trick or something?
you say that my name is an easy name to pronounce. That is indeed fact. But is it an easy name to remember? No. I tell people I've got called Danielle, Deborah, Margaret. Like, people just Toby me. They don't care. They just like any old name. I'm just gonna give it to you at this point. I've been called Dolores, so I had to show one woman where the floor is, because I was like, that's not my name. But it's just one of those things where even though it is easy to pronounce, some people still forget it. And it's actually pronounced Dorothy, because there's 2 O's in there. The second O usually gets skipped, and it's just Dorothy, but it's to pronounce is Dorothy. So, I mean, you just got to keep correcting people with your names. I actually seen someone who just made a post recently on Facebook. It was like, I'm going to keep correcting you until you get my name right, until you say it right. And I don't care if it makes you uncomfortable right then and there, but you're going to pronounce my name until you say it right. Then it's like official greeting. So, but I don't know. I just think that it's very important that you are being called by your name, because that's how you are recognized of who you are as a person. That is your identity, right? And so we want to respect others' identity. I just think that like having your name and having it being pronounced correctly, some people are just like, oh, okay, like, they'll brush it off, or like not, really want to say it correctly, or be like, oh, because even sometimes if I don't know someone's name, and it's hard. I know like a lot of my Nigerian folks out there, they have those names, okay? And I'm like, listen, I grew up with a lot of Nigerians, and I'm still like, so you just really have to take the time to really like respect people, respect others in their identity. You mentioned about a calling, and your name is like a calling. It is, because they have words, have meanings, they represent things. And so I want to show up respectfully as myself and have everyone respect who I am as well.
Yeah, and this show is Let's Talk Money with Friends, and we say money encompasses everything. And we know that your name can really determine, I mean, not only your calling, but also too how you show up in the world, and also to how people see you. So with that being said, I know it's very important that people take the time to pronounce and call you by your rightful name. I don't know if you ladies who used to be, if you used to watch 2020, I don't know if it's still on, but years ago, I was an avid watcher of 2020, and they did an experiment, and it was two applicants, two similar resumes submitted to interviewers, and one was being called and the other one wasn't called, and they had literally the same similar credentials, like if not the same. They literally took one copy, two resumes, and just changed the names. And one was being called. One name was very Eurocentric, right? And the other one was very Afrocentric. Who do you think? Let's take a wild guess here. Who do you think got called for that interview? Who wants to take a wild guess? Anna.
The Eurocentric names.
Yeah. And why is that the case? Why is that the case in this country? When you have a Eurocentric name, you are more prone or more apt to get opportunities?
I'm sorry. And the reason why I just want to chime in is because I just kind of said one of my jokes or whatever about like how I can self-identify, as a white woman. It's a joke, but the realness, the truth of the matter is that when I say like I have that privilege, because if people see my name before they actually see me, they're thinking like, okay, Dorothy, this maybe mature woman or something like that, because it's a very classical name. So I always joke and say like I can self-identify as a white woman on a job application, like if I wanted to, not to say that I haven't done, because that trick does work a lot of times, but they do it. Someone whose name, because like Anna said, our names come from like our cultures, our background. Perpetu said that she had like, how she puts, what do you say, Marie Eves in front of her name. Anna, you said you have Maria. In a lot of cultures, they have like juniors and Marias or Maries and stuff like that. They have all these like different names that are like have been passed down from generation and cultures. So they have those in separate cultures, and so it's easy to depict like, oh, this person's like ethnicity, like, oh, they have this name, they must be African. Do we want African people? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it could be or you have a Spanish name like Pena or something like that, And so it's like, this is how we label ourselves. And it's important that we're having this conversation because our name is a part of who we are. And so if you see a name that's unfamiliar to you or that's not noticeable, then you're to yourself naturally like, oh, this is obviously they're from this ethnicity or they're this type, like,
Yeah, definitely. I have like a lot of people texting me through WhatsApp because folks are liking the show. But I think it's very important, like, because of the fact that could be a challenge, right? Would you say, Anna, because you are someone who's been a teacher, you've been in the marketplace, would you say that it's very important that like some of the reasons, of course, we all know we deal with racism and discrimination in this country and all over the world, as a matter of fact. But part of it is laziness too. People have business similar to me effect. They don't want diversity and inclusion. It's too difficult. So therefore, if a name doesn't sound so familiar, I'm not even gonna bother with that. What do you think about? What do you see about that? And do you think parents have like you said, you are very strategic in choosing your kid's name? Do you think parents should be very selective when it's time to choose a child's name because of the economic factor that could be part of it later on in life?
Well, I would never tell someone what to name their kid because that's very personal and also, very, that's their decision. They brought this child into the world they have the right to name that child
Yeah.
however they wish. But I would say that in terms of, when my ancestors who came here willingly came to the United States, a lot of them would anglicize their names. So, or they would pronounce it not as we would have pronounced it back home. They would change the pronunciation or they would change the spelling. They really wanted to assimilate. And we all understand we have the code switch, we have to assimilate, but at the same time, you don't want to lose who you are and your essence, just because you need a job or because you're in a new culture that doesn't value your name. Even my name, like I said, it's a very simple name, but I get mispronounced all the time. And it's only happened recently. 'Cause I was a school teacher, but I came into finance and everyone calls me Anna. I have never been called Anna in my life. Like, I don't even know where this comes from. And I constantly have to tell them my name is Anna.
Yeah.
And they're like, really? But you only have one N. And then I'm like, yes, I'm not American. I don't follow no rules that I have to have two N's to be pronounced Anna. I mean, I'm 46, so I should know by now how to pronounce my name. Like, just, and they'll do it. And I just get annoyed that people still do that. So you can't win, really. It's like, give your child the name that you love and that you want your child to be, because, if a job really wants you, they should be able to look past your name and see what skills and how can you be of value to that company. And if they're that racist, you probably don't want to work there, because the microaggressions, they add up really quickly. And you probably need to find a better place that believes in diversity. Not every company believes in diversity. Not every company believes in inclusion. So it's probably a red flag that you need to be somewhere where they're going to pronounce your name correctly. They're going to treat you like everybody else. And with me, it's funny because since my name does look Latina, I'm often confused for Latina. And I had a manager that would pronounce my last name Depina instead of Depina. And I had to constantly tell him there's no Enya in my name. I'm not Latina. I kept trying to tell him, like, and then one time he even asked me what part of the Caribbean I was from. And I was just like, you know what? Like, I can't with you. Like, I'm from Africa. Like, I'm not from the Caribbean. I don't know how else to help you. Like, you're like willfully ignorant, or, you're choosing to not listen when I've corrected you several times, and even other people started correcting him. I just was like, you know what? These people really aren't going to change. Yeah. Thankfully, I left that company, but yeah, you have to do what's right for you and your family and your situation, because you lose a lot when you try to assimilate and change who you are.
Yeah. You do have to be merciful, because I think you don't want to do just as everybody else, being ignorant. Like every time somebody mispronounce your name, I know for me when I first came, Gabrielle, Gabriella, like all that. And I decided, no, it's Gabrielle, but it's okay if you call me Gabby, if you're a friend, I'll go with the nickname if you're a friend. But if it's an employer, I want you to call me my full name, Gabrielle. It's Gabrielle. So it's very important that we say name is important. On this show, we say money encompasses everything. And the way you hold your name, the way you carry your name, the way you really identify and embody your name will determine. I know for me, as knowing that it's a strong woman of God, it's a strong woman, I don't need to be told how to do anything. I already know. I've decided that, I was gonna exemplify everywhere I go. Actually, as a matter of fact, ever since I was in junior high or even elementary school, I was gonna be my name, be the leader, be the person who just doesn't need to be told anything more than once. Once is enough for me. And that's why when you find yourself, so we want to talk about the importance of having a good name, because there's a difference between knowing your full name and the meaning of your name and having a good name. So what is the difference, in your opinion, Prabhati, the difference between the meaning of your name and having a good name? Because the good book says that it's better than gold, right? Oh, I cannot hear you, property.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. So I think the meaning of the name is something. Having a good name is to actually work your name. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Like work really. So you are living in the now. What you are making your name yourself, right? Like
Mhm.
you are working on your brand kind of things.
Correct.
I think that's what things that you want to be remembered for.
Yeah. So the importance of having identity, right, and your
Yes.
reputation, because
Mhm.
that's a good name. You know, in on this show, we've talked about the importance of having good credit, for example, right? Your credit score matters, and your legacy matters, your reputation matters. You know, so because you want to create a good name, right? I want to be known as a strong person, but also someone who's reliable, someone who's respectful, someone who does what, you know, someone who has integrity.
Integrity.
Yeah,
Someone you
all
can
that stuff.
rely on, you know. I know perpetuity is doing that. I know perpetuity.
Yeah.
She's not. No, she's not gonna. Gabrielle, no, she's
Yeah.
good. You're known for something that is good, that is righteous, that is you know, great.
Yeah, the good name is important, right? Because it's one thing to have a name, even if your name doesn't mean quote unquote anything. Even it could be, I don't know, your parents call you Wall. I don't know. But even if it's a Wall, you still have to carry a good name, right? Because there's a difference. A wall is a wall, but you as a person still ought to exhibit or exemplify positivity and things that are honest, right? And truth, right? That's what it means when they say your name, a good name is better than silver and gold, right?
Yeah.
Right, Anna?
Yes, but also it's culturally as well, because like in my culture, like people didn't identify you by your name. It was always the name of your family member. So
Correct.
for example, I'll go to a funeral. I'm like, oh, you're the daughter of so and so, or you're the granddaughter of so and so. So their name being great, you know, and
Carry
people,
through generation, because you know
yes,
you will be remembered for the good that you have done, or whatever, good or bad. That's what you're gonna be remembered for.
correct. And so people like, oh, you're this person, oh, this person, and they remember all the good things that person did for them that you never knew about. And then it kind of carries over to you. And
Yeah.
like in my culture, you always have to say not your name. Who are you of? Who is your parent? Who is your grandparent? Like they want to know everybody in your whole family. They don't care who you are. They need to place you.
Inherited too. They kind of like that too. C'est pas petit and tell, you know, that you know, everybody know you in the country, especially if you live in countryside, right?
Yeah, in this country, I always had put here like the Kennedys, for example, now the Obamas or something. Like if you have a famous name, people automatically connotate, you know, like
Open doors.
they'll relate, oh, you're from the Kennedy, so you are a certain type of family. You're from this family or the Clinton family, whatever. But if you're not a famous family, like a superstar or someone politically connected, you could be, like we say, regular folks, because some cultures, like your last name is important, because the reason I wanted to talk about the importance of having a good name is the shame that could associate with it if your name is not related to positivity, is not yeah, what you said. So in terms of like, if you find yourself in a situation where your reputation or is being questioned or is challenged because of a situation related to your name, again, going back again to this show, meaning Let's Talk Money with Friends, one of the ways that you could have a challenge reputation is through your credit. That's why we talk about the importance of having good credit. But the credit score is one way to identify you. But in the financial services field that we work, that you're familiar with, Anna, it's the fact that, you know, if they pull your credit and the credit is not 700 and plus, all of a sudden you are being seen as a different person compared to someone who has 700 and plus, even though you are someone who's respect your name. But life happens, right? How do you overcome that? How do you overcome that shame if you are someone who has great intention, yet your reputation is being challenged?
I think
Do you want? Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's, I think there is always a second chance.
Yeah.
Right. You have to work, you're gonna have to work really hard because usually, so the first impression, it stayed in the mind of the people.
Mhm.
But there is another chance. You have to work on it and to work really harder to be remembered for something else. And
Correct.
by doing that, let me tell you something, Gabriel. You met Duvalier, Jean-Claude Duvalier,
Uh-huh.
and his wife is trying to rewrite the stories. I went to that Facebook page of Michelle Bennett Duvalier, and then she was, I mean, she is talking to the totally a different story of what happened when she was the first lady. I'm like, that woman is rewriting his story. She wants to be remembered for something else. She wants to rewrite. So I think we too, if that happened, that your reputation have been challenged too bad, but you're gonna have to work really hard to make to change the image that you have.
Yeah, because name is such an important part. It's an important thing, especially for people like myself and people like yourself who's taking the time from the time you're a child to really study your name, to really determine, like, I'm gonna live up to my name. And then when you find yourself in a difficult situation that sometimes, many times is outside of your control, how do you overcome that? How do you overcome that shame? How do you fight through so that you can rewrite the story, like you say in perpetuity? And I think it's very important to also find community. On this show, we've talked about the importance of having community because, I mean, Anna, you and I taught a class at church, and I remember one of the verses, the message that I used to share. I was teaching a class, God, Money, and You, God, Money, and You. And I really loved, every time I had an opportunity to share that story, in 2 Kings 4 about the woman who had a husband who died. She was a widow. Her husband died and left her with a bunch of debt. But she said to Elisha, my husband was a good man. So he had a good name, but he died. That's outside of her control, outside of his control. But guess what? Because he was a businessman, he had business debt. Made a lot of debts that she had to deal with, she was left with. So in that situation, would you advise someone who's like, I love my name, I've studied my name, I want to live up to my name, but I've found myself in a situation where I'm very shameful, it's a very shameful situation at this time, at this moment. Would you advise them to go and find a wise counselor like this woman did to get the help and the support so that they can rebrand themselves and get out of the funk, so to speak?
Oh, absolutely. Obviously things happen in life.
Yeah.
And so you have to deal with the things as they occur, but you also have to have grace for yourself. And knowing that, my mother often says, God doesn't give you more than what you can bear. But that doesn't mean you can't get help from others as well. You don't have to do everything by yourself. And sometimes, we think you just do it by ourselves, but then there's also other factors as well. Like, for example, I've always wanted to have good credit. I used to have excellent credit. I got divorced and my main goal was to maintain my credit. And for the most part, I have a sibling who doesn't care about credit, and she's like, who cares? Don't pay any of the bills and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I'm going through these proceedings and I don't care about anything else, but I'll sell the house and everything else, but my credit needs to stay good. And throughout my life, right now it's not as good as it used to be, but I was on a trajectory to making it good. And then actually just this week, I'm like, I need to call my credit card companies because my interest rates are through the roof. That's affecting my credit score, but it's nothing I did. It's just the fact that so I definitely got to take care of this. And that's the other thing, take care of things. Like, don't let it, fester and wait, because then it gets uncontrollable. Like, take care when you see the problem, deal with it. So now I have to deal with this problem because I'm like, what? I looked at every single credit card I have, looked at every interest rate. I even created a spreadsheet. It's not normal me. But I just wanted to make sure I know exactly my financial picture. I know exactly what to deal with and who to call and tracking it to see if it's getting better what's going on and why in the world, like, I think all my credit cards now are like 30% interest rate. I don't know what in the world is going on with these people. I'm like, have you lost your mind? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
but
So
you know,
yeah, so it's very important because again, what's in the name, it matters. Your name is important. Your good name is also very important. And for those who have been very animate from the time they were a child, like I said, I'm one of those people. You didn't have to tell me anything twice from the time I was a child. One time, that's all I needed. So my mother had a very good child in me because you tell me to do this, I would do it. But sometimes life happens to you. And when life happens to you, you don't want to internalize the shame because the world here, the society will use whatever to pulverize you and to crush your spirit. And I know so many people have even died. I know someone who during COVID who committed suicide because of the fact that she felt like her name was in the gutter to the financial challenges that she was dealing with. And she couldn't get out. I remember her calling saying like, oh my gosh, I've never been in that situation. And the very fact that she was in that situation today, she couldn't see herself out of it. And so it's very important that we talk about the importance of a name, because for me, a strong woman of God has a lot, the connotation is huge. Being strong, being a woman of God. So I gotta live a certain lifestyle, right? I have to have a certain standard. Nobody's perfect, right? But I have to. And when you're trying to live up to your name, sometimes when life happens, you have to understand that when life happens, it's very important, like you said, to go get help. And that's why I love that Second King. And I always like tell all my friends, please read that Second Kings 4. When you find yourself in a bad situation, in a situation that's outside of your control, do not internalize shame. Do not become suicidal. Do not say my name is in the gutter, so therefore I have nothing left. Because at the end of the day, we were saying it, Anna, when it's time for you to go, the only thing you get to go with is your name, because that tombstone has your name. You don't go with the house. You don't go with your degrees. You don't go with the husband. You don't go with children. You don't go with anybody else. You go with your name. Because when I go to the cemetery, whether for a funeral or just to, visit, guess what? I see people's names. That's it. I don't see anything else. So your name is very important. And we say now, what's in a name? A name is everything. But if you find yourself in a situation where your name's been compromised, especially if it's outside of your control because you've been oppressed or because something's been happening to you, it's very important that you remember who you are. For me, I always remember that I'm a woman of God and my strength is from God. Do you know who you are? Remember who you are and never be ashamed to go get help so that you can rebuild your name and rebrand yourself, right? Any last word, ladies? What's in a name? It matters. Any last word?
I would say, even though your name doesn't mean anything, you can make the meaning right now. Like you said, build your brain. If it doesn't have a meaning, special meanings, you make it.
Yeah,
That's the
good
good
name
thing.
is not the same as the meaning of your name.
Yes.
What about you, Anna?
yes. Well, also, if you're into branding, not that everyone's into branding,
Yeah.
but you do develop a reputation, and people will know if they can count on you or if you're not reliable. And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad, because if you're the responsible person and you're like, oh no, I said I'm going to do this, now I have to do it. But people know who they can rely on and who they can't, and so your name always carries weight. And people, and someone said people never remember everything you say, but they'll remember how you made them feel. So if you make people feel good and happy, they'll remember that feeling that, and I had a lot of former students, and some of them were very challenging. And some of them was just like, oh my goodness, like it was hard to deal with them, but they became wonderful adults and they became great people. And they're still, keep in touch with me via Facebook, and I can see their lives, and I can see like you can have an impact on someone and you don't know that, might not see it right away,
Yeah.
but to always carry yourself in a way that, you always deal with people fairly and with respect. And people will remember that. They might even forget your name, but when they see your picture or something that you did, they'll remember you in good ways.
Yeah. Yeah, your name is permanent. Choose it wisely for parents who are choosing name for their kids. Again, we want to send congratulations to our friend, Melissa. She just had her first child while we were away on vacation. Congratulations, Melissa, her first son. She gave him a great name, so that's awesome. Yeah, choose that very wisely because it's better than silver and gold. To me, it's better than diamond. It will open doors and sometimes close doors. Safeguard your name. But if you find yourself in a situation where your name's been compromised, whether it is too bad credit or your reputation because somebody's decided to defame your character, remember who you are. For me, I'm a woman of God and I'm a strong woman of God, and I don't relent. I stand firm in knowing that I'm so sure that I've done everything that I can to make sure that I live according to my name and according to my calling that I have placed on my life. So I would say congratulations to all of you for being on the show, the first show since I've been back. Please go out there, make a name for yourself. Really find out what your name means and really live accordingly, and seek help if you find yourself in a situation where you need help to rebrand yourself, to redo your name, or to even redefine who you are. Thank you so much, everyone, for being on the show. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking, and thank you for making a comment. We are on this show. I'm living up my name. I'm here because I feel like this information here that we share every Wednesday is timely and relevant. There are some people right now, there's somebody right now who's gonna hear this message and it's gonna make a difference in their lives. And for me, if it only touches one person, that's all matters. That's all I want to hear. It's touching one life. And I get the calls and I know it's touching people's lives. So please share, let your friends know. Do not keep us a secret because we don't want to be a secret. Pepper Tea, your show is going to be in French Creole. Is that it?
It's going to be mainly in Creole, yes.
In Creole. And you're going to be on Facebook? Your Facebook?
Yes, it's going to be on Facebook, on YouTube, and all my social media.
And we're going to be competing.
Yeah,
Listen, you watch my show, you watch your show, vice versa, whatever. Because you know what? You have a purpose, I have a purpose. Anna has a purpose. Let me tell you, we are all needed to make this world a better place. And that's why I'm always in full confidence in knowing that I'm living my purpose, and you got to do the same thing too. So yes, Wednesdays at 7 o'clock, you're going to be live. And everyone who gets a chance, please tune in my show and her show as well. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Anna. Good luck with that test. Live up to our names. Have a blessed night.
Thank you.
Stay blessed.